Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Well, I'm in an Olympic mode.
Okay, tell me. Yeah.
Um, well, Katie Ledecky just got her 110th gold medal,
Yes. She's doing incredible.
and a 19-year-old Norwegian guy won the decathlon.
Uh-huh.
And I'm watching the beefy guys with the shot
The
put.
shot put is today. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the USA won the mixed relay, men's
Okay.
and women's relay. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been watching that on and off.
Yes. No, okay. Yeah, no, I've been following it here and there. Simone Biles, obviously loving her black job. Uh,
Yeah.
did you follow any of the shooting? People think that all the sharpshooters are very cool. There's a South Korean with her shooting glasses that went viral, and
Oh no.
then there was a
Oh,
Turkish guy.
I missed that.
Well, I guess when they shoot, the sharpshooters, they put their other hand in their pocket, and it seems just to be part of the sport, but they do look pretty cool. Like they look, I mean,
Oh, I
you know,
see. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
these images of them are going viral. How did your women's or the rugby do?
Well, the Britain, my school chum, they were knocked out, but I think they were beaten by the US.
Ah,
I think I can't remember if the US or France. France was had a very strong team. I watched France versus Fiji.
mm-hmm.
It was difficult to watch the British team's matches because Peacock or NBC really concentrate on when Americans are
Yes,
participating. So
yes.
I don't know. I can maybe find it on YouTube, but no, that was exciting. And oh, and I saw that Snoop Dogg went to the Louvre after hours.
Oh,
He was given a special
yes.
tour of the Louvre, and he said that when he saw the Mona Lisa, he said that I'm her cousin, Tony Lisa. He had some very funny things. I have to say, he's some very funny things to say.
Yeah, I didn't know. What I didn't realize was that he was an official commentator, like for NB, like he wasn't
I
just there. He was actually like they giving color commentary and like he was they hired him, which is sure, why not? Why not Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, I think it was a very good idea. He went to the dressage event dressed head to toe in the kind of formal wear that
Yes,
you
yeah.
wear. But turns out he's scared of horses, so
Sure, sure. No, yeah, that doesn't surprise me actually.
so he looked good, but he wasn't going to get on a
He wasn't going to
horse.
get too close. Yeah, and that. Oh, the other thing about rugby I didn't realize is that they play without helmets. It's not just that it's very fast, but they don't wear helmets. And I mean, I've seen it before, but I wasn't. That really, when you see it at an Olympic level, that really clicks with you because that's.
Well, my when I came to America, and I first, probably on television, I saw American football. I couldn't believe that they were wearing helmets and padding, and that
Uh-huh.
seemed to me like I hate to say it, but do you
No,
really need that? I mean,
well, no, I mean,
aren't you man enough to?
yeah, right, right. I mean, as a child, I struggled to understand American football and its popularity, and specifically like because it seemed like it. I mean, it's yeah, it's this hyper, but these aren't real bodies. These aren't your real shoulders. These are it's a kind of a costume in a way as well as I mean, yes, it's
Yeah, it's a
protection, but it's
costume.
also
Also, um, even 15-a-side rugby, I mean, they have their timeouts, but it's one continuous play. I mean,
yes, yes,
you don't stop. And the 7-a-side rugby is even faster because even if there's a penalty, there's an immediate movement that gives the ball to the other side. So it doesn't, there aren't those long
right,
timeouts, which
right.
I guess you need for commercials. But,
Um, So, okay, I find it a little bit hard. So specifically the men's national basketball team is just all these stars. It's LeBron James. It's all these people you know, and then they're playing like Serbia and they're beating them, but it doesn't feel very
I,
sad.
yeah, I saw one. I saw what this morning. Um, I saw one of those games, and I thought I mean, I'm amazed that Serbia kept them to, a pretty high score.
No, for
I
sure.
mean,
No, and those guys still get to go back and say I played LeBron James. So no, I mean it's yeah, but it's just I don't know. Yeah.
well, yeah, I looked up because it used to be that you could not be a professional and be in the Olympics. In
That's
other
what
words, you could,
no, and that's what I'm suggesting. Maybe that should be the standard because I think, I mean, and then you hear these stories of people who, I mean, aren't really full-time Olympians. They don't go back and train the other 3 years. They go back and they're doctors and I mean, they do. They stay in shape, but they're not. I mean, but they whatever for whatever they qualify, they're good at their thing, but it's not their full-time thing. There are people like that in the Olympics. I think their stories are a little bit more compelling than
well, they have jobs. They're not, I mean, their country probably pays for their training or their coaches. But I mean, my eye doctor, when I was 7 or 8, I didn't realize this until my dad told me. He was a rather slight, meek fellow with
sure,
glasses called Dr. Peters. He, in fact, had been a very famous marathon runner,
sure.
but he'd always trained to be an ophthalmologist, So, and he was never paid anything.
Sure. No, and some people don't. I mean, they don't get the sponsorships. They don't. Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're still very good at
but
their one
now
thing.
now college football players are allowed to make money. So
I think that's okay. Oh, I'm at that.
no, but I'm saying therefore you can't find anybody who's an
Oh, who's
amateur.
not a professional? Yes. No. Well, yeah. No, that is a good point.
No, I'm not against that at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but because lots of people are making money off of
Off of
them.
them. Yes. No, and that's exactly why I agree too. I also think it disin- de- de-incentivizes them to go straight into the NFL. It encourages at least some of them to stay in school because some people who are really good at the high school level, they get just convinced go straight into whatever pro sport draft and then they skip that period because it's not really required. But if they can still make that side money, that marketing money that someone else isn't profiting off their image, but they are, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's and I mean yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so what else? Other moments, North Korea
Tell
and
me
South.
about the art fair.
Oh, yes. It was it was good. It was bigger than I mean it's always in the same space, but how many booths or they can be kind of
Yeah.
spread out and with like black curtains marking off where, or they can be it was packed. There were, vendors not just from Seattle, I would say, but more regional. But yeah, West Coast, California, Oregon, British Columbia, some Idaho, and then some like there was one from a couple from South America, like Brazil. Um,
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, and and I was there on
Did you
Sunday as
go on a regular day? You
I
went on,
yes, I did. No, but I went on Sunday as it was closing down, so I got to hear sort of the vendors saying they got to meet a lot of people, they talked to a lot of people, but they didn't necessarily make a lot of sales. I wonder if that's going to translate into ones, especially ones who came from farther, um, making the choice to come again. I hope they do. The crowd to me seems young. It seems sort of hip. It seems like not necessarily super knowledgeable about art, not necessarily
right.
wealthy or has a lot of money. The art in the art ranged in prices from a few $100s to $1 million. Like last year, I would say shiny, both in like color, like bright colors, but also shiny, like texturally shiny. Instagrammable still seems to be the theme. Playing a lot with like painting versus sculpture, a lot of things hung on the wall, but coming out of, or
Yeah.
paintings that are
Yeah.
three-dimensional in some way or another. Um,
Did you get the impression that there was a lot of local artists represented?
No, there still were, yes. And there, I mean, I would still say the majority, probably 70% or more, was still local galleries representing a mix of both local artists, and then some of those local galleries represent their own things. Or yeah, no, may represent other artists.
Do you think that they were making some sales at the lower level, or?
I do. No, oh yes, no, I do. And I saw sales happening. I saw people having, I mean, I saw evidence of serious collectors being there, but overall, the tone seemed to be, well, we were here, but we didn't necessarily, and that's okay. No one seemed really like they were upset or that they had a bad weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's very, where does it take place?
It takes place at, it's in an event space that's sort of under T-Mobile Stadium. So it's not like in the stadium, but it's kind of
Right.
under it. And it's just like a big kind of warehousey space with high ceilings and,
Would you say there were 30 or 40 booths,
oh,
or?
more than that. Oh, actually, let me see. There's a direct
mean-
right here, and it's probably closer to like maybe 80 or 80 or 90.
Really?
I'm
That's
just
very
looking at
good.
I'm looking at the list here, and it's
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah. No, and
So
yeah,
that's a successful. Now, did you go last year?
I did. I've gone every year that it's live, and I
Is
think
it the same, is it getting bigger or smaller?
it's
or?
getting bigger. Yeah, I mean, and last year felt, I mean, well, the first year is still the biggest. The first year is still the year that it got both local and national press. Seattle is having an art fair for the first time. And I think first one still had galleries from New York, I mean, I think, people were really curious about what it would be like, and it was an untapped market and all that. Other ones have been much smaller. I think it really scaled back and felt like a very local event. And even local coverage was kind of minimal. And so it feels like, and then pandemic, and now it's building back again. It's sort of what it is to me.
Usually those regional art fairs, when the first one tries very hard to get international or national galleries.
Yes,
And probably provides incentives.
sure.
But those galleries won't come back unless they've made significant sales.
No, of course.
Whereas local galleries or more regional galleries, for them, it's expensive to rent a booth and ship the art. But if they
Yes.
sell a few things and they meet new clients, it's worthwhile, right? And they haven't come very far. I mean, even if they're coming from out of state. Were there galleries from Los Angeles? Do you know?
There were some, yes, no, there were.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then I don't know, this is neither here nor there, but this is sort of the intersection of art and technology, which is always interesting to me. Not a lot, I mean, I like to collect ephemera. I like to collect artist, cards and like this artist, Emily House, who I know from her last gallery show, which I went to see like 3 or 4 times because I really liked her. She was on display there. But a lot of galleries they have less and less ephemera, less paper things, and it's like a QR code to go to their website, which is fine, and I guess is more environmental, but
I mean, they don't have catalogs or.
they don't have catalogs, they don't have business cards even, or I mean, even the most basic, like they're all digital, and I think if you look at kind of the aesthetics of their logos and things, it's part of their brand to be modern, to be clean, to be, I don't know. And
I don't know. It's interesting you say that because counterwise, I think that the big international art fairs, like the ones we do, are still heavily oriented towards price lists, physical paper, magazines, books,
Yes.
catalogs.
Yes. And
I mean, we we've had a couple of exhibitions in the gallery in New York where we have QR coded the list, but the walk around list,
Right.
which is a good idea. But I don't think we've done that for art fairs yet. And so it's actually starting at the regional level.
Do you think all those things are still because that's what the collectors who actually buy expect?
I think, yes, I think that the demographic visitor buyer collector at the big international fairs is older than the ones in the regional fairs. So
Yes.
we still have to cater to people who are 40 or 50. Well, you're
Not
almost
digital natives. Not
50 and up, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, who yeah. But it will change. It will obviously, it will change. I mean, it will gradually. I like the idea of not having any labels, obviously, and having people able to, just get a QR code, not, like a menu in a restaurant. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to think that's actually very,
Hmm.
it makes sense. It's a
Yeah.
good use of technology
Yeah.
because it saves paper and, yeah, good.
I am slowly for some reason I get QR code anxiety. Like it's like trying to make my phone make it work and it takes a moment and like is it gonna work? And so but I am slowly I agree. I think it's for a lot of things like menus and things, it just makes more sense.
The more I use it, the more the least anxiety I get, probably.
Yes, no, yeah. What else?
Um, uh, well, do we think that Kamala's going to debate Trump on Fox, or she's going to make him debate her on ABC, which is where he had agreed to debate Biden, but now is reneging because he, for obvious reasons.
Yes,
Because,
yes. I am torn. I think there is a case for letting it be on Fox. I don't think there's anything Fox can do other than. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything that Fox can do. And I think, yeah, in this case, I think they've been hammering him on a lot of really effective things, but this, well, he's a coward. Well, he agreed to something and it's changed, and you actually changed the terms by that candidate.
well, yeah, I'm not
No,
saying he's
I don't think in
weaseling
this
out
case
of
he's
it. He had,
obligated. I don't think he's obligated to the ABC. Of all the things, I don't like Trump, I don't support Trump, but I think in this case, they should be a little bit flexible here. They changed the terms, and so I
yeah.
think it's fine that he wants it to be, of course, on his more friendly channel. Again, I don't think that's going to make a difference. What I would do is insist it's in front of an audience, and the reason is, no matter how many times they tell an audience to be quiet, things like audible gasps when someone says something shocking are what you never ever hear because he only, we heard it for once this week because he spoke before black journalists. But normally he speaks either before his own captive MAGA crowd or very carefully in interviewed settings where there is no, or debate stages where there is no audience. You don't get to hear average Americans' reactions to his world in real time.
Would the Fox audience be an average audience? I mean,
They could import them. No, they could import them, and I don't. I would still. I would trust that. I would trust the process. I would trust
I think she could. I think she could deal with
anything.
hostile Trump and hostile
And
questioning.
hostile. No, I think no matter what, she will win. No matter where the venue. No matter. And yeah, I have that. I have that much faith in her. But again, whether it's on Fox or not, Fox and the like will spin it however they want. They will cut it up and dice it and edit it however they want to make her look like what. But and that's fine. But yeah, do you heard about him speaking before the black journalists?
Oh, I watched it.
Okay, so wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I have. It's Seafair weekend, so we have these the airplanes flying over. Yeah, okay.
I mean, I want him, I mean, he's incredibly stupid, but I still couldn't believe what he was saying.
I, I,
I
um,
mean, it's,
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I was more on the side of anti. I mean, between again, I do consider myself a black journalist, but I'm not a member of that association. Between the actual membership of the association, including I think the co-chair who stepped down, whether or not to invite him at all was very, very, very contentious. I was not on the same side as Jameel Hill, who kind of said, well, you know, he's the candidate. It is the topic. It is relevant for him to be interviewed. My take is he's a known quantity. We know what he's going to say. It's giving him giving him venue to speak is just giving him a venue to lie. And why would you ever do that? It's not like he was going to say something new, and he didn't. But he did. I mean, the way he said it, and again, hearing the audience reaction, he went back and said, black journalists invited me because they love me. But clearly, anyone who listens to, he also said he crushed it on that interview. But anyone who listens to the actual tape knows that's not the case. And
I mean, they said to him, what is a black job? I mean, you know, he's like, it's,
yeah.
he's almost from another era. I mean,
Well,
he is from
no,
another era.
I was thinking about this. I mean, it very much is, well, as much as they dog whistle to another time, he is, and, you know, well, he turned a liability into a strength. He was a has-been, David Hasselhoff type 80s joke of a celebrity, but he turned a desire to go back to that era into a,
Well, but he doesn't actually have to think about it because he's still there. I mean, he's still actually a kind of a 70s guy. I mean,
no, and I mean,
kind of a, you know, New York City, sleazy real estate, grab the hostess in the kitchen, the guy.
yeah.
For him, it's not history, it's the way I am, right? It's
Yeah.
the
And the way he promises it could be for you if you, I mean, I get it. No, I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't get it, but I get his appeal to them for that. Yeah, and he does that.
But people like J.D. Vance
Let's
have
talk
to
about
do
him.
gymnastics to get there.
Well, right. No, and well, okay. A couple of things. One, I just a really interesting article about how they all try. I mean, well, credit where credit is due. Trump is a what is the phrase I'm like Henny Youngman. He's an insult comic, and he's actually good at it. I mean, he comes up with the names. He has comic timing, and I don't say that like I like it, but they all try to imitate that. He also has an army of people who will defend anything he says, but they all try and imitate that, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for them. They can't make those jokes land. And then JD Vance ends up sounding very defensive, saying, "Well, I was just being sarcastic." Well,
No, you have to have an inner sleaze and
you have to right.
The vulgarity that's built in.
It's
very difficult. I mean, I think New Yorkers understand this. I mean, it's a type. It's a type. It's a dying breed. You know, I mean, he should be the Smithsonian or something. You know,
with with like a gold chain and
yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Vance had another not so great week. I mean, how do you think they're feeling about that? I mean, how do you think now Donald Trump is now having to defend for Vance's statements, which is, I mean, the one thing of a vice president is do no harm. If you can add a bump, great, but do no harm. And now that Trump is on the defense for Vance's statements and his own statements, now Trump is having to answer. People on his side are asking, is this the right choice? And he's saying, no, he's our guy. But like,
yeah, but he has no legislative experience. He's written one, I guess, memoir /
it's a book about himself. He wrote about
novel about himself.
It's fictionalized.
I think whoever Harris chooses will be able to debate him very well.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think he's necessarily a good debater. I mean, he's obviously more intelligent than Trump,
Yes.
but I don't think he's not a natural politician, which
No.
And he's got this terrible problem with hypocrisy, doesn't I
Yeah.
mean?
No, and he's pushed some really, really extreme things. I mean, it's the more they're digging, I mean, they're still only into like 2020 and 2021. I mean, it was like the cat ladies, but then also that
He said people who have more children should have
get
more
more
votes.
votes. He said people who are childless are psychotic. He said people, he's calling for what they call menstrual surveillance, which is really like, I mean, again, they want this is, and again, I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk about him and any of the like sort of silly things that people are attaching to him, but if that, yeah, but his policies, they want the government in your bedroom, they want the government in your bathroom, they want the government in your exam rooms, and that's what's so scary and dangerous, and that's what, they're trying to distance themselves from Project 2025. Well, he wrote the foreword to the guy who is the architect of that book. He wrote the foreword to another guy from Turning Point USA, which is another extremely right-wing organization. They're trying to distance themselves from these organizations whose websites he had to scrub his own website. Vance did this week. Harris had the screenshots, though she brought the receipts, but of references to reproductive, of any reference to abortion, because his views are so extreme.
Isn't it too late for them to think that they're going to get votes from independents or people who are on the fringes? I mean, I would have thought that why aren't they embracing 2025? Because
Right.
their base would be fine with it.
And I think Trump knows that, because I think Trump, I mean, obviously, what even right wingers are calling like blanked the bed. That interview was that bad. But if that was also like, again, chum for his base. They love to hear him call a black woman nasty. They love to hear that, like that. I mean, he got what he wanted out of that too. And I don't think his strategy is to go for the moderates. I don't think his strategy has ever been to, the question has always been, how is Trump going to pivot during the general election? He doesn't. He wants to bring more into his camp. And he thinks if he keeps hammering this message, if he can get, he and others that were now into decades into this generational buy-in of white rage, that it is enough. That it is again, it's not a silent majority, but they can get enough to win. That they can win just on that's enough. And they're getting close, and it's scary because they're getting close. I mean, they can say all those things in the open, and it's not over. It's not, oh my gosh, that's so shocking, he had to pull out. It's another week of Trump again, because we're also desensitized to it now.
Do you think that the what appears or what's reported as a lot of enthusiasm among the new voters for Harris is really going to turn into a meaningful tip of the balance? In other words, there were a whole lot of younger voters who just were so fed up with Biden.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't come out. I mean, they didn't.
Yep.
They wouldn't vote for Trump, but they wouldn't come.
Yes.
But it seems to me that she's hit some nerves where she is now being, treated as cool, as smart, as sassy, appealing to the TikTok generation.
Yes. Yeah, and yes. I think that transition was very interesting. I think it represents a what was, and I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but what I see and hear around me, a pent up sense of urgency that people didn't know what to do with. Whether or not she is the perfect or ideal vehicle, it doesn't matter. She was there at the right time and she assumed it, and she assumed it with grace, and she didn't stumble when her moment came. And And I think it coalesced very, very quickly. I think there was a period where, again, remember that first day, not even the Obamas endorsed her, but it took like Charlie XCX and like Cardi B. It really did take.
Yeah, but I think that was very strategically thought out. The
Oh, for
timing
sure. No, oh, for
is,
sure. No, I'm not saying they weren't behind her or yeah, no, I'm not.
but I don't think she has to be the perfect mirror. I mean, Gene McCarthy was like a doddery old poet, and
Right.
he got huge. I mean, he
Yes.
got the youth.
Yes.
He didn't win, but
Right. Oh, no, but no. Yeah, yeah, no,
he
yes.
didn't talk or look like them, but they projected on him
Yes.
because of his, I don't know,
Yes.
what they felt he stood for, whether he did or not.
Right. But I also think what the right wing is, while they're trying to capitalize on the same memes that the Harris campaign is actually successfully capitalizing on, I don't think they really understand. Again, well, some of them really do, because I mean, I've gone back all the way back to Hillary Clinton, how the right wing, and particularly Trump and his people, understand and use memes and like just a simple gif of somebody stumbling that turns them into you can how they really do understand meme culture, but in this case they got it wrong because they don't understand fully how something like a wine aunt, wine aunt, she's in the corner dancing a little
Right.
too embarrassingly at the party, is both something you make fun of but also something endearing. And so
Yes.
the more they try and attack her for those things, the more they try and attack her for things like her laugh, the more they're actually showing their cards of ugliness, and that's going to endear her more to those people.
Yeah, it's falling flat. I mean, the point is, talking about Biden as being doddering and frail didn't fall flat because that's what he was,
Yes,
and we were all afraid of it,
right, right,
But she seems to be pretty Teflon about these things.
yes,
Um, and and she doesn't rise to the bait. She didn't rise to the bait about her ethnicity,
yep,
and there was one comment, I don't know whether the voter was white or black, who said, well, we know she's black, get over it. I mean, that's, like,
yeah, yeah,
we've been there, done that, right?
right.
And
Yeah, no, I mean,
if it matters to some people, it'll matter to them. They won't vote for her, but I think more and more people will.
yeah, I
I
mean,
hope. I don't, maybe.
the yeah, it's yeah, as a right wing commentator pointed out, pointing out that she's not a white male is not a winning strategy. I mean, it's in 2024. I mean, it's
Yeah.
and I mean, the whole thing with the I I, I yeah, I usually I talk as a sort of, here are my thoughts on politics, but this is as a human being, a biracial individual, hearing Trump talk very personally, the misunderstanding that you might be in one space and talk one way. First of all, it's called code switching. You might be in one space and talk one way, and in another space talk another. You might be in a space where you are. First of all, let's be very, very clear. She has never pretended or not said she's black. She went to a historically black college and rushed a black sorority. So no, it's not. I mean, factually, I mean, I don't need to fact check it, but I just have to. But more importantly, the concept, what he's infusing, this I don't know, is my life experience of, well, how come you were saying that to that group and that to that group? Yes, if I'm with a group of predominantly black people, I might talk more about my black experience. My experience is going to a predominantly black high school. If I'm with a group of other people in a different setting, with punk rockers, I'm going to be talking about the shows we've gone to over the years, and people are going to say, well, in that setting, you weren't black enough. This is my life experience that he's making fun of on a stage. You understand? Like, I mean, it's.
Well, yes, I do. But it's a lose it overall. If it's true, the statistic that 19% of people under 20 are of mixed ethnicity and only 6% of people over 65. And that's not ever going to, that's only
Right, no.
going to increase.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
So the minority will be the majority.
Yes.
And he's right. He is going to be replaced.
No, the great.
So
No,
it is, I believe in replacement theory.
And it is not. Yeah, let's be very, very clear. Yeah, so, and it is not by importing illegals. It is just the statistics, and whether it's 2035, 2040, we will become a people of color majority country at some point in the next couple of decades. That's just a fact. That's not. There's nothing any of them can do.
This is America.
They know that. First of all, and again, they're all the law and order party. 40% of the military identifies as people of color. That actually I didn't realize. That shocked me. But okay.
Yeah.
So now after he made all these statements, what I do appreciate is journalists going back to other people like Lindsey Graham and making them say, what do you think about that? Do you think that that's an okay thing to say? Do you think? And so, I mean, and none of them have good answers either, but like Graham's answer was, well, basically, no, that's not an okay thing to say. And we're all something. Aren't we all more like something like I don't know. It wasn't a good statement, but it was.
Well, I wonder if they're watching the Olympics, that they have any kind of awareness when they see that Spain and Germany have Black Olympian athletes representing their countries.
And keep in mind that those athletes receive racial, like the Argentinian team, which Lionel Messi is the president of, has this taunt that they've been using for the French team since 2021 that involves references to Africa, and it's
well, those are
soccer. Those are soccer hooligans. Okay,
no, but they're terrible. They're. I mean, there'll be generations of soccer fans who are basically out of control. But
yes, no, it's interesting. Yeah, no, sports.
I don't think that happens in swimming or
right. No, right. Well,
or gymnastics.
Simone Biles said, "Don't talk about my hair," though. She just made it as a general statement, like, "Hey, if you have any comment on a Black woman's hair, maybe just don't. Maybe just don't." Which I think is, and it's.
Who said that?
Simone Biles, who the gold medal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, this I think that's a whole separate conversation. But this moment of fans bullying athletes, fans of, this is my team, it's my quarterback, I root for him, but if he fumbles a play, I'm going to unleash a tirade of racial slurs on him publicly on social media. This is a real thing, and yes, toxic sports fandom is a whole. I mean, I think that needs to be, yeah. But no, okay. Any thoughts on the Veep stakes? Any thoughts on? Josh Shapiro.
I don't know. I'm not a military person, but I kind of think Kelly would probably be.
Okay, Kelly has a vulnerability because he invested in a balloon company that was also had Chinese investors. Remember the balloons that were.
Oh,
no,
you mean really a balloon company?
It's again, he's an astronaut. It is actually something to do with aeroscience. I'm sure it's 100% legitimate, and yet from a storytelling perspective, he has this vulnerability.
Josh Shapiro has a vulnerability too,
which is Israel, but
no, it's not. It's also that his chief of staff was accused of was sued for sexual harassment, and it took him 6 months to get rid of him, and he said, I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
So either he was a bad leader because he's
and he didn't know. Yep.
Or he knew it and he didn't. So
yeah, that's a pretty. I'm also. I didn't know much about him before, but I am hearing, and I like both, that it's progressives who are trying to get him knocked out, but also that it's really pro-Palestinian, and in some cases, I think
even without Gaza, Shapiro would be a liability for most of the Midwest.
I
mean, really, yeah. I mean, all of those states like Michigan, Minnesota, and they're still anyway.
Yeah, but that no, but then that's the thing. You can't.
I think they'd sooner vote for her than for an Orthodox Jew.
Right. No. Well, okay. I saw an interesting clip of Trump supporters who they very clearly who clearly identified as Christian nationalists. Yes, I think church, Bible should be taught in school. Yes, I think then be discovering on camera that Trump's children and grandchildren are Jewish and not they didn't know that. They didn't and they're yeah, no, and they're
Oh,
shocked.
they didn't know about Jared.
But again, the politicians don't care. They all it's they're just using these talking points. It's not. I mean, I believe Trump. He really does have black friends, and those black friends tell him, "You're awesome," because like Tim Scott really does jump when he said, you know. I mean, it's. I'm exhausted. All right, what something good, something positive. What are you watching? I watched Dirty Dancing again. Such an not
Really?
just such a great
Okay.
dancing movie, such a great movie. Patrick Swayze, Jerry Orbach, both of whom late great. But Jennifer Grey, I know, such a great movie. Like really, and
Okay.
amazing soundtrack. If you haven't watched it in a minute, it touches all the feels. You laugh, you cry. Yeah. Okay.
I'll
That's
try it
yeah. Yeah.
again, and I loved it. But
It's been a
um,
minute. Yeah.
three body problem. The three
Oh, did
body.
you wait? Did you see it? Did you?
I'm watching it
Oh,
now.
yeah, yeah. It's a show.
It's a series.
Yeah. Is Pete
Um,
Davidson on it?
hmm?
Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live?
No,
Okay.
no,
No,
no.
I'm thinking of
It's
something else.
no.
Okay.
There are no. Uh, I think it's out of Britain.
Okay.
Um, it's a multiracial cast.
Yes.
Um, uh, one of the leading characters is an older Asian man with a thick Yorkshire accent,
Yes.
and it's sci-fi-ish,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
but the starting point is the um, Mao's Cultural Revolution, and
Interesting.
it's kind of something that happened at that time, which now is threatening the world.
Ha.
So it's actually it's very well acted. It's very well.
Yes.
So um, that's my main
Good. And then what does your week
thing.
look like?
Hmm?
What does your week look like?
Oh, well, I'm staying in the country
Huh?
now for most of August, I
Yes.
hope.
Good.
I have two or three big work projects that I have to do. One
Yes.
I have to get through by next week, but I have an intern in the city, in the gallery who's helping me with it.
Yes.
So then I hope to slow down a bit for a
Good.
week or so. I mean,
Okay.
do you have any time off?
I know what like you, I had Fridays off in July. Now I'm back to actually I will have time off because our annual PTO runs out August 31st and it caps at 120 hours and I think I have 130 something, so I'm gonna have to
Oh,
figure out how to take 2 days off in
oh, you
August.
have to,
I have
right?
to just to use it up. So
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
but no, other than that, August, my weekends are a little bit full. We may have to like change up
That's fine.
Saturdays
I'm
and Sundays.
flexible now, yeah.
Yeah, and then but my week is just it's just regular work week, which is fine. Like July was pretty light, so I'm glad to like
Yeah,
be like we got our new contract where it's the new season, so I'm glad to be having stuff to do and staying busy.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Have a
Love you.
good week. I
Love you.
love you too.
Take
You
care.
too.
Manny.
Yeah?
Thanks.
You know I got your back.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the two most basic bees on the planet, shut your old loose neck ass up.
as a lesbian, and actually then sent them a copy of the book, apologizing and saying, I didn't use the right terminology, and got an email back saying, oh, don't worry about it, that, we're still friends, love you, dude, kind of thing. And it was only when Vance came out against medical, he voted against.
Yes, yeah, no, he's a culture warrior very much.
Yeah, but at the point at which he did, then this friend, Sophia, wrote him an emails and basically said, I don't understand. You're I know your move was moving to the right. And he replied saying, well, I changed my mind when I became a parent, something like that. I was really, but it's, I don't know. I think the hypocrisy is so deep.
It's not, no, it's not. And so, okay, so.
Isn't it hypocrisy?
Well, oh no, wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm not saying it's not hypocrisy, but it is, it's not new. It's not, Dick Cheney has a lesbian daughter. They all know someone. They all have an excuse to, well, one of two things. Either you're like Elon Musk and you don't, or you have a relationship and, well, everyone makes excuses and does I don't know. No, but until they can't anymore. But no, he is very much, and I talk about this, and this, so, this isn't J.D. Vance, this isn't Trump, this isn't even Project 2025, but it kind of is. It's this guy named Christopher Rufo, who lives here in Washington, who wrote this memo in 2019 that basically said, hey, all this DEI racism stuff is good, but let's just go full hardcore trans because everyone hates them. This is getting a little bit divisive, but that's a lot easier. That's an easier target. And that's where all this comes from. That's where all the bands, that's where all the, okay, I had to explain, okay, yeah, I don't know where I want to go with this. Sorry, all of that surprised me, and I'm going to have to process that and maybe have a bigger, I didn't know that specific, but I'm not surprised. And they all, no. Yeah, no, and sometimes, again, I've been that queer friend to someone who I know in other circles says horrible things about me, and I have my justification because you don't always immediately want to cut someone off until you're like, I don't know.
We know and admire politicians whose life experience informs their principles and even their policies,
right?
Even as they might mature. In other words, they could be, totally pro-gun. They might then have an experience with somebody near to them or whatever,
yes.
And they start to change their attitude, right?
Okay, yes, but no, okay, but this actually is part of Vance's, this is integral to his platform that I changed when I became a parent. And have you heard all the childless cat lady?
Yes.
Yeah. No, and so it's very, very clear that he's now backpedaling, but not. What's interesting is that
he's trying to say it was out of context, but
yes, and claim that he was speaking. But here's the thing: he's saying I was saying that the Democratic Party is anti-child. Okay, but if you wanted to attack policy, you could have done that. You attacked very specific people: Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, by the way, is quite young; Kamala Harris, who, by the way, has stepchildren, a very valid type of parenting that their own biological mother had to come out to defend her on. And Pete Buttigieg, why you chose these three people are completely on you. But also Pete Buttigieg happens to be in the category of people who were trying to have children. He does now. He adopted. He also is quite young, but they adopted. But at that particular time, and he said this, they were having a setback in their adoption process. Of course, Vance wouldn't have known that, but that's exactly why you don't attack people's families. That's exactly why you don't do this. It's not, so for him to say they took it out of context, no, he very, very specifically chose to attack individual people by name and is now trying to retcon that in a way that doesn't make any sense at all, except to his own base, which is why he went on Megyn Kelly to do it, not The View, where they would, well, no, Joy Behar would have just softballed him with a bunch of jokes and actually then felt good because the jokes were about cats and thought she really owned him, but she wouldn't have actually, he's still going to have to continue this apology tour. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, this is part of their platform, though, that family means a very specific type of thing, and it's a man, a woman, and children, many children. Also, if you read Project 2025, there will be no childcare, there will be no schools, and of course you can't get an abortion anywhere, so there. And then the Heritage Foundation, I'm sorry, the Heritage Foundation was fact-checked. Someone made up a thing that said that somewhere in Project 2025, it said something about stay-at-home mothers. It doesn't, but it doesn't have to. Because again, if you've gotten rid of schools, if you've dismantled the Department of Education, if you've gotten rid of early learning childcare, and there is no choice, a bodily choice, you don't have to say you're forcing mothers to stay at home. It's infused into what the law it would enforce. It is Handmaid's Tale. Sorry, I
think the big question is what today constitutes the average American family? Is the average American family...
Is that a question, though, in 2024? I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but I mean, okay, I'm listening.
No, I'm saying that what I hope
Yes.
is that the average American family deals with issues that don't equate with 2025. In other words, that there are vast numbers of people who, in their own quiet, ordinary lives, their experience, whether it's to try to have children or to have people with mental disabilities, whatever it is, that when it comes to voting, that they will care, not that Trump's crazy or Harris is efficient or not, but that they cannot vote for somebody who basically is going to it's going to have a very serious impact on their personal lives, and not just like taxes or inflation.
Right. No. Right.
From a social, I'm saying from a social point of view. Maybe people don't. Maybe I don't know.
No. Do people vote that way? I mean, I do know among all the criticism was a Fox News commentator who said, her terminology, she says, I have a baby up in heaven because I had an ectopic pregnancy. I don't have a child here on earth. I am who you would define as child. I mean, he struck a nerve across all demographics. And, okay, I guess, and I guess the last thing I will say, about J.D. Vance is even the Republicans, the right, are starting to grumble, like, was this the right vice presidential pick? Is he too similar to Trump? Is he a mini-me? Which is, I'm sorry, I just have to, their inkling of starting to consider the possibility that maybe diversity is a strength, not a weakness. I'm just saying, because they always insist DEI is this evil thing that's ruining.
But Trump wants a mini.
Of course he does. No, of course he does.
He won't campaign with him he on the same stage, but he doesn't want the possibility that a younger man might upstage him. So
no, he knows
JD Vance can go around, and he's a surrogate Trump.
Yes. No, and he knows he'll stay on script. Last time he went with Pence for a very strategic reason, but Pence, even from the beginning, in his own, and again, I hate to give, because Pence is virulently, speaking of anti-trans and all that, but Pence in his own way, even from the beginning, made his own, I'm with him, but I'm not with him. And then,
Well, he's kind of like a cowardly Christian.
He absolutely is. No, he's not. I'm not giving him any valor or glory. But except that one day on 2025, which, all right, let's move on to Kamala Harris on January 6th, 2025. She will be the person who sits in that chair and oversees the count. That is the fact. The right wingers haven't started to freak out about that yet, but all their stuff.
Did you see? I just read just like 10 minutes ago that yesterday Trump told a meeting of Christian evangelicals they only have to vote once now. They will never have to vote again. He did. He said that'll be it. You only have to vote once and never again, because that'll be it.
Is there audio? I mean, is this deniable?
That was in the Times.
Okay. But again, the Times. No. They say no. I know they're gonna.
No, but he's saying.
I know. I understand what he's saying. No. I understand the threat. It's very clear, and it's not. They're not. Like I said, they're not dogs.
No, wink. It's not a wink.
It's bullhorns now. We've got the bullhorns out, and
you vote for me, and I'm going to be yours till I die, and then JD Vance will take over. I guess he'll be his anointed.
It won't ever be Vance. Vance is a tool, just like Mike Pence. It'll be someone else.
No, it'll be Eric or Donald. I don't know. Maybe
it will. No, you're right. It will be. It'll be Ivanka. She'll be the first.
Ivanka. It'll be Ivanka. Yeah. Yes. Jared will. Jared will be the president's husband.
No, okay. Do you want? Okay, let's please move on to Kamala. No, because they're actually none of this is going to happen. We're still in doom and gloom mode, just like he's still giving speeches about Biden, which I'm like, keep doing that. Keep wasting your resources complaining about a guy who's not running for anything. But what Kamala? She is having last week at this time. We were still debating for the third week in a row. Should Joe pull out? Should Joe not? What a week! What a week! We haven't even talked about this yet. What has happened in the last week? She's having.
Well, the media, who used to think she was incompetent, actually.
I don't know how the mainstream. Okay, so
now she's the Virgin Queen. Now she's
Is it okay?
That's great.
Okay.
I mean, fine.
Let me say I am drinking the Kamala Kool-Aid right now, so don't harsh on my.
No, I am.
Okay. But James Carville is the I want to say Clinton.
I can't watch him.
Oh, okay. No, okay. I don't know why, but no. But he is saying he said let's temper it. Let's just temper it. The Democrats are 10% too excited, and I think that's valid. I do think we haven't won anything yet, guys. Let's slow down. Let's calm down. But I also think. No, let's coalesce around this person, all the endorsements. I am feeling it.
She's going to get a big, tough-looking white guy from the South, and and they'll that's fine, and people who have any doubts will.
But speaking of anti-DEI, the fact that she can't even consider a woman, the fact that she can't even consider a woman of color because of the optics of if she, whatever white guy from the South she picks, he's going to be a DEI hire.
He is. Yes, of course he is. Yeah. He is a DEI.
So there you go. No. Do you? Okay. Do you?
I mean, the white. the white population that is being replaced, right?
Yes.
Well, they should turn it around and say we're for hire
Yeah.
as you
No.
need us
Okay.
in order.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay, but how about Kamala and like the youth, the okay, do all the memes, all the Charlie XCX Brat.
If she can get the kids excited and Gen Z for whatever reason, I think it's fabulous. I think it's great.
First of all, again, Joe Biden, despite the fact that they didn't like his stance on Palestine, and she is much more ceasefire, just period. But was already polling like 28 points above. Young people weren't saying I like Trump. They were saying I'm not voting at all, which was unfortunate. So if they're it was never they were going to vote for Trump. I want to just make that clear if people were confused about that. I also, the other interesting thing is Charlie XCX, the artist who did this Brat, that is part of this lime green culture that is, that the official campaign has latched onto. She is receiving a bump as well. I think this goes both ways. It's not just, it's probably, I'm probably the only one who's going to point out, I think this young artist is getting a bump from a 59-year-old woman who memes stuff because she says wacky things about coconuts. But I saw two separate Club Brat, Charlie XCX dance club nights, and a week ago those would have been Taylor Swift or Beyonce, or I swear, I mean, I can't prove it, but she's getting a bump too. I think it's a Venn diagram of people who are moving towards each other, not just one camp is absorbing or getting a new, I don't know how to describe it, but it's, in any event, yes, I think she's going to do well. I think she's going to do fine with Young. I think as far as, did the mainstream media describe her as, was it incompetent? Yes, she says.
They did. There was a lot.
Really?
This was not recently.
Okay.
But they used to say 90% of her staff turned over. She's disorganized. She's not a leader. And now, today, the Times has a huge article about what the other world leaders have said after meeting her. She's smart. She's great. She knows her stuff.
But again, okay, well, is it the New York Times' place to do that? No, it's her campaign's place to do that. You're right. And but this is in response to her being very much attacked now and very much being, again, called over and over a DEI hire and things right now on the right in very dark and disgusting ways. And people talking about her sleeping her way into politics and, I mean, just really, really gross things. And I think that needs to be countered, but it's not. But
how could her having had an affair with Willie Brown compete with Donald Trump?
I know. No, I get glass houses. No, I know. Glass houses. It's like, it's kind of wild.
Like she showed her ankle, that's like.
No, but again, the way it can compete is all of his scandals are old and they're desensitized to them, but hers are new to them, so they can froth them up. That's how.
I don't know.
That's how. I mean, it's.
The Willie Brown thing came up when she was running with Biden. I mean, it never got much traction because.
Willie Brown was the mayor of San Francisco while I lived there. My friends pied him. My friends, which I don't condone. I don't throw anything at anyone. I don't throw anything at anyone for any reason. But back in the day, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I did not get. Yeah, no. I wasn't involved.
So do you, first of all,
yes.
Do you think she's going to win?
I don't predict that one thing only because, I mean, pollsters, as soon as anyone says anything about polls, I remember Kellyanne Conway is a pollster. Kellyanne Alternative Facts Conway is a pollster. So none of them, that's what they think. That's how they think. None of the polls mean anything. I don't have the data set to really make a judgment. It will, and so much is going to happen between now and then. I do think Democrats need to be careful of, counting your chickens before they have, rooster, coming home to roost, all stuff, getting too excited too early, because that's not necessarily a momentum you can sustain. In radio and television, the right outspent the Harris campaign only has one ad right now, so that's probably the reason. But they spent 25, million million, and the Harris campaign spent like 2.6. They outspent them a lot on specifically radio and television in swing states, and this is like what older people still consume. And if it's AM radio, if it's those talk radio, it's there. So while maybe the meme culture and younger is enjoying this, they're still sending their message to their base in a real, and the people who maybe are on the fence and who maybe are on the outside of this and not celebrating it and being like, what is all this lime green stuff? What is that? And I don't know. No, what do you think? I mean, I just said
I don't know. I like to believe that if she can ignite the energy of the young,
yes,
that they are, once energized, much, they can multiply in a way that the dyed-in-the-wool, do I want to get in the car and drive to vote today? Maybe I don't, kind of.
Right.
In other words, the middle of the road people.
Yeah.
In other words, we need energy, which is an antidote to the people who are deifying Trump. That kind of, because there may be a lot of people in the middle who just don't bother, who just,
Right. I think if it comes down to endorsements, if Taylor Swift endorses what Swifties have, but there are already Swifties for Harris, but if Taylor Swift endorses, she'll have the young vote. If Beyonce endorses, she'll have the black vote. And I hate to make it that simplistic because that's not true. That neither group, young people or black people or any group, is a monolith. And I want to make that very, very clear every time.
Yeah, it's not. But a significant more than she already does. In other words.
Yes, and again, with black people, there is a softness because she was a prosecutor, and because people and the right is really going to hammer this.
She's
no matter
Indian. I mean, there's certain things that she doesn't automatically get the black vote.
And the fact, and this is what's Trump, who as a private citizen spent $1 million of his own money to take out, again, New York Times ad about the Central Park Five and how they should have been executed. One of whom is now like council member because
he's exonerated.
Trump is now going to use the fact that some of her prosecutions involved black men who maybe spent time in jail longer than they're going to use the fact that they get to do this. But again, that's new information, and his thing is old information. It's a very interesting, and I know we're going a little bit long.
That's why a debate is going to be.
Yes. If like I said, like I keep saying, they both in the last debate they both did disastrously, but he was the known quantity of disastrous. Biden, they had hidden him a little bit, and so we were surprised by how shaky he was. Whereas Trump rambles like that all the time. Yes, so does she rambles, but in a very endearing way.
I think I think she could really. I think she could win a debate in a way.
No, she will. No, that I can predict. She will win a debate. I said I wouldn't mention Vance again. They're also coalescing around the fact. Well, it's interesting. They're already, and this is how hair on fire, tear it out. They are around the fact. If Trump loses, it's Vance's fault. I'm like, well, he lost the popular vote twice. He's never won the popular vote. So no, if Trump loses, it will be his own damn fault. And that was without Vance, obviously. Last thing, and okay, so you were right about Longlegs. It was officially as a trivia or whatever. Bea Perkins is Oz's daughter, who played the Clark story. Yes, so you got that. You spotted that. Deadpool. Ask me anything. I promise no spoilers. But if you have no curiosity at all, that's okay too. Do you have? We talked a little bit about it by text.
I'm going to see it.
Okay.
When is it?
Is it out? It's out now. I saw it. It's great. I saw it last night.
Don't say anything.
I won't. Okay, I won't.
I don't know if I'll see it this coming week, but I will see
Yeah,
it.
we don't have to talk about it, and it's not important. But
Oh,
no,
I do. I'm fascinated by, because I read a kind of an exchange between, Ryan Reynolds and, what's his name?
Hugh Jackman, yes,
It was very funny. I mean, it was obviously a PR exercise,
yes, their
but
banter
how
is
they met, how, the
yes,
whole thing, and why Reynolds wanted to do it, and why then Hugh
right.
Jackman, who said he wasn't going to do any more Wolfman, why he wanted to do it. So
Right.
yeah.
And again, I don't know why I feel the need to slightly warm. No, yeah, my dad who took me to some of the most violent movies ever made. It is hard R, and that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes Deadpool now officially in the Marvel Disney universe. The first two movies were actually produced by actually make fun of men several times in the movie. Oh, I said no spoilers. But it is. It, it is very hard R and it is very gay, and I expect a new cycle of backlash around that. It is very much Deadpool versus. So if you came for the fights, there are fight scenes, and I promise. But if
Well, they say there are 100 F-bombs in it, so.
no, but it's yes, it's that. But okay, well, this isn't a spoiler because it's already been. Yeah, it's not just that he gets to say the word. And again, Disney has had for decades since the '80s, like they've had Touchstone and Amblin. They've had divisions to release
Oh,
R-rated movies,
yes,
but not
yes.
as Disney, not as Marvel, not as part of their
No.
brand that you come to Disneyland for. And especially in post Ron DeSantis, whole woke wars, blah blah blah. Once they got accused, yeah, they literally showed two female fish side by side, and it was like controversy. Like, and so no, there are. It's not just that he makes a pegging joke, but he makes it and says Disney in the same sentence. He points out that you're watching a Disney movie while he's making these very like
That's very postmodern,
it's
but
no, it is in a way. No, it. I will say again. This is probably the only spoiler. It doesn't break the fourth wall. There is no fourth wall. There is no. There is going to be. I don't even know what it. This movie tells you when to take a bathroom break. This movie tells you like I don't understand. Like it.
but didn't that all begin with Spider-Man in a way?
I mean, oh, who?
Comics. I mean,
No,
the
they're
kind
all.
of
I mean, the narrative. Yeah, no, they're all. Yes, it's
being self-aware,
so as
being
much as I'm saying this is new for Deadpool to be in the Marvel universe, it also is very much if you've seen any, and I've only seen about 6 of all of them, but if you've seen any, it's a very nostalgic retro soundtrack. It's a very the beats, when the fight scenes are going to come, how they're going to come because the music cue tells you it's coming. I mean, it's very it is but the jokes are I mean, it is wall to wall, and it's not just me. Objectively, I laugh at almost anything, but objectively, people were laughing out loud in the theater. It was very. I saw it on opening night, I do just for the free merch and stuff, but I don't necessarily like a crowded theater. I do more like a Tuesday in the afternoon, but yeah, people. I think this is a very good movie, but some people are going to be mad about it.
well. We'll discuss it either next week or the week after once I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah, I love you so much. Have a great
I
week.
love you. Have a great week. Okay.
Bye.